Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel JJ Educate. So today's our topic is about the concept of frictionless surface on an inclined plane. Here we'll study about the pseudo forces, how do they act, and what is the inertial and the non-inertial frames with example, and this all can be explained with the help of this example. It's a very important example which combines all of these circumstances acting on it. So let us move on the question. So here you are seeing the a diagram. So let us read the question. All the surfaces shown in the figure are assumed to be frictionless, and the block of the mass m slides on the prism, which in turn slides backward on the horizontal surface. Find the acceleration of a smaller block with respect to the prism. So let us consider the frame of reference. Let us consider first of all the frame of reference over here. See, a frame of reference is very important. So there are two types of frame of references. One is an inertial frame and another is a non-inertial frame. Now what is the inertial frame here? Inertial frame does simply means that follows the Newton's first law, which states that a body will remain in its position until or unless any external force is applied. Obviously, when the force will be applied, there will be an acceleration. That is simple. Now what is that non-inertial frame? See, body is moving, it's an accelerating without any constant velocity, so that is considered as a non-inertial frame. So what is the basic example of a non-inertial frame? How you can say that it's a non-inertial frame? A gravitation. You have just dropped the ball, no force is applied on it, yet it has achieved the acceleration. That is what we call as a non-inertial frame of reference. The same concept we will apply over here. Since the surface is the frictionless, it means that no force be applied, this block will keep on sliding on this surface, so we can consider it as a non-inertial frame of reference. Fine, the block will be considered as a non-inertial frame. Here it will be considered as a non-inertial frame of reference. So now let us consider the motion of this block. Let us consider the motion of the block. Motion of the block from prism frame of reference. See, what is the simple meaning of frame of reference? Frame of reference is depends, this all things does depend on the observer. Suppose you are traveling in a train and you see the number of trees passing over it. So when you consider the frame of reference as your train, you will see that the trees are passing through you, the trees are moving. Fine. So let us consider another example. Suppose I am moving to a Bombay and what I say is the station is about to come. See, station is not coming, we are going towards the station. So when we are considering the frame of reference as a train, the observer sees that the station is coming to me, but actually what is happening is we are going to the station. Is it fine? So now we have considered here the frame of reference as a prism. See, this is the prism, this is prism, and this is the block. Fine, this is the block. So now see, in the one important point is that when we are considering the non-inertial frames, one force does occur. Non-inertial frames, that is one force occur, that is considered as a pseudo force. See, what is the concept behind the pseudo force? A very important concept. What is the pseudo force? So whenever you are considering the non-inertial frames, you have to consider the pseudo force, and pseudo force are nothing, these are just a fictitious forces which are acting on all the masses. Fine, which are acting on all the masses. So pseudo force come in the effect when the frame of reference has started the acceleration with compared to the non-accelerating frame. During that time the pseudo force come into the reference. See, a simple example I would like to tell you is that a very simple example. Then after we'll just move towards it. See, it's about the pseudo force. See, when you are considering the non-inertial frame, you have to consider the pseudo force. Fine, you have to consider the pseudo force. See, suppose it is a car, and the force of this axle, a person is sitting over here, it means the mass of this person will be also considered and the mass of the car will be considered. What you will say? That m plus m multiplied by a. Fine. Now let us consider that in a non-inertial frame, when car is not accelerating, it means that the force from the axle will be balanced by the Fixier's force, and Fixier's force will be minus m plus ma. Fine, this is what we called as a Fixier's force. If the car is not moving, it means that it is at a rest. It means the net force will be considered as a zero. So there exists a Fixier's force in the case of the non-inertial frame, where the Newton first law is not valid. The car is subject to the Fixier's force ma and the force c. Car is subject to the Fixier's force ma and the passenger is having this ma, and when the Fixier's force is considered as a minus ma, and the force that is produced by the axle is what? This is the force that is produced by the axle. So the difference between this force applied to the seat which exerts, see, whenever you have just started the car, you just accelerate the car and suddenly you are pushed at a backward direction. Fine. So car is moving in a forward and suddenly pressure exerts reaction force. That is what we call it as a minus a. That is the reaction force on the passenger. So which is therefore compressed. So in all the frames, compression of seat is the same and the force levered by the axle is. So simply we can say, if there is the force acting on this vehicle, then the Fixier's force will be just negative. So when they both are balanced, the answer will be zero. The net force will be considered as a zero, and you will observe as a reaction force. When you start the car, when you are sitting in a car, just suddenly accelerate, you are just pushed backward to the seat. So when you have accelerated, initially was this and finally this. So when both of this combined, answer will be considered as a zero. So now let us move on the question. Fine. See, here each and every part will be explained over here from this question. So now, so first of all, the forces acting on the block. Forces acting on the block. So let us draw the diagram. This is the diagram. Fine. Now there will be a contact force which is considered as a N, which is also called as a normal force. It's a contact force between this block and this prism surface. Similarly, there will be a downward force, that is what we called as an mg. Fine. And there will be one pseudo force that is in the forward direction, that is represented as ma0. Here the pseudo force is represented as a0. Fine. So it is represented as a0. So now let us resolve all the components of this question. Fine. Here it is theta. So now is theta. This is the block. So first of all, here we are considering this mg. That is m. That is ma0. So now let us consider the figure. This is and this one. This is the resolution of a component we are considering for the mg. Fine. So here you are making the 90-degree angle, so rest of the angle will be 90 minus theta, and here it will be theta. So what will be the force over here? Here will be mg sine theta. Since it is a perpendicular, so this is a perpendicular and this is the hypotenuse, since opposite to the 90-degree, and it is considered as a base. Fine. It is mg sine theta and it is mg cos theta. Is it clear over here? Fine. So now another point is, let us resolve this component for the n. Okay, so let us resolve this component for this n and ma0. Now for the ma0, see, it is the resultant, so we are considering this one component over here and one component is over here. Fine. If it is a 90 minus theta, it will be considered as a theta, and again it will be considered as a 90 minus theta. So now at the same direction, in the same direction, this ma is equals to theta. It means it will be a ma cos theta, ma0 cos theta. How we have considered, see, just draw the diagram over here like this. Fine. So it is a 90 degree, it is a hypotenuse, and it is a base and hypotenuse what? Cos theta is reflected, and that at the same instance we will observe over here is ma 0 sine theta. So now first of all let us consider all the parallel components. And one more force that is applying, and one force that is produced by the block is by this force. That is what we called as a ma. So now see, we will consider here the parallel forces. First of which parallel force you will consider first of all here is that parallel forces are this ma cos theta. Fine. At the same time this ma cos theta and mg sin theta, which are inclined towards the plane, mg sin theta plus ma0 cos theta, and at the same direction you will observe here the one ma is also acting over it, which is mentioned in the question. Even you can see in the question it is mentioned like this. This is the force we are considering. Fine. This is the force we are considering as ma, that is equals to ma. That is our first equation. Now we are taking the perpendicular components. So perpendicular components will be considered over here is that, see, which are the perpendicular components? Perpendicular components will be this normal force, and it is clubbed with the ma sin theta. Fine. At the same instance there is a mg cos theta. These are the perpendicular forces. See, here they are perpendicular. Fine. These are the perpendicular forces. So you will write n plus ma 0 sin theta, and that is equals to mg cos theta. Once more, even I will show the same diagram over here. See, here ma sin theta, and here it is n. Fine. And another is the n, it is equalized by the mg cos theta. That is what we are writing over here in the perpendicular cases. That is the second equation. So now consider now we are considering the prism. See, two of the things we have to consider. One is the prism, one is the block. So now on the second case, consider the motion of prism. Consider motion of prism with respect to lap. Now frame of reference is taken as a lap. Now it is a inertial. Fine. So now it will be considered as an inertial frame of reference. How? See, when we are considering this lap and when we are considering this prism, see, this prism is moving in a backward direction and it is written over here. Now frame of reference. Now frame of reference is stationary, and with respect to this we will see that it is moving. Fine. So now so inertial frames are considered over here. Inertial frame is considered. So obviously that prism will be displaced from its position when external force will be applied. Now inertial frame. So no pseudo force will be considered over here. No pseudo forces. Again draw the diagram. Same diagram will draw. See, the motion of the prism is in the horizontal direction. Fine. So we'll consider only the horizontal components. We'll consider only the horizontal components over here. So now it's a block. Say a reaction force will be because the reaction force, see here we are getting the normal forces, force of contact with that prism. Fine, if this will be displaced, it means that this prism will be also displaced from this position. Another is the point, that is mg. See, it's a downward force of the prism, and again the reaction force will be there, normal reaction forces, that is what we called as a n dash. See, we will not consider this force now, we'll just draw the diagram simply way. Fine, see, I am just assuming to making a simple diagram. See, it will be considered what it is as, so here we are just considering the mg, that is mass of the prism, and here the theta is considered. Now we will be resolving here the components. Fine, considered as n. Okay, so now we'll just consider one of the component of the prism is like that. So now here it is what, 90 minus theta, so it will be mg sin theta. Same, it will be mg sin theta, and this will be mg cos theta. Fine, now resolve the component for this normal forces. See, it is written over here, it is n. Fine, now I am considering the normal force over here. See in the next row, so that you won't be getting confused. See, like that, it is like this and it is like this. Fine, that is n. That is n. So how one component will be like this and one component will be like this. Is it fine for the n? So here it is theta, so here it will be 90 minus theta, it will be here theta, and here it will be 90 minus theta. So here theta you will consider n cos theta, and here you will consider this n sin theta. Fine, and similarly that block is sliding in a backward direction with respect to this surface, so that is what we called as a ma0. Fine, so now in this equation n sin theta we are considering only the horizontal component. C, n sin theta is equals to ma0, that is what we call third equation. So now the value of n is equals to ma0 upon sin theta. We'll just be putting this equation, putting the value of n. So ma0 sin theta, that is plus ma0 sin theta, and that is equals to mg cos theta. Fine, it was the first equation R. So it was like that equation, ma0 is ma0 sin theta, and that is equals to mg cos theta. It was a second equation. So we are putting this value. Now we are solving this value simply. So now just take a0 as a common value. A0 will be taken as a common value. Now it is m sin theta plus m sin theta, that is equals to mg cos theta. Fine, so a0 m plus m sin square theta, that will be transferred to that point, that is mg sin theta. It's fine, so here a0 is equals to mg sin theta upon m plus m sin square theta. Is it fine? So now you have to consider like this. So it's an expression for what we are getting, and when you are considering the mass of both the values, so you can write mm, that is like this, g sin theta. Fine, that is the value of acceleration. So thanks for listening me out for this lecture. If you like my lecture, kindly comment it, like it, and please subscribe my channel. Thanks.